Wednesday, July 17th. You can't find a slower sports day during the middle of the summer than the day after the Major League All-Star game. But for the trade request heard round the world, we might not have that much to talk about. But thanks to Major League Baseball and the All-Star game, we got some good old-fashioned complaining to do about an event that used to hold a very sacred space. The Midsummer Classic officially dies, I think, in the same year that Willie Mays died, and there was probably never a player more associated with the All-Star game than Willie Mays himself. And Major League Baseball, that All-Star game, that home run derby, the weekend, absolutely jumped the shark this past weekend. It was horrible. Welcome to the Damon Bruce Show. Please hit like and subscribe. It is great to have you here. We're brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. I'll tell you about my friend's big week coming up and a chance for us to all get together at Plus Mania for the musical in just a little bit. But we got to start with the fact that baseball has botched its All-Star weekend as much as possible. Just think of it in terms of a convention. Just think of it in terms of a convention. Like, you've probably all been to a convention, whether it was like a Comic-Con type of thing or something for work. I mean, conventions happen in all different sizes and shapes and flavors. But the whole point of a convention is you go somewhere, you meet people who become more recognizable, you build brand identity, and more people now know about you at the end of the convention than they did the beginning of the convention. Well, just looking at the All-Star game through the prism of this is a convention, they failed the brand, they failed the marketing, they failed the presentation, they failed the packaging, they failed to identify new up-and-coming products. They've failed on every conceivable way that you could fail as a convention where you're looking to grow your product and sell more of it to a now interested level of consumer that might not have been there in the first place. There were more players that we didn't recognize based on the fact that there were more first-time All-Stars than ever before. Now, when I say we didn't recognize, like, I'm not talking about me. I don't think I'm talking about all of you, but that was a straight up, who is this guy, All-Star game. For the casual fan, it's the biggest, who the hell are these guys in the history of All-Stars? You know, there's been a torch passed between a generation of baseball players to a new generation, and baseball has so failed getting people interested in this new generation of players beyond Shohei Ohtani. It's unbelievable. I mean, think about it. Unless the actual plan was we're going to get all these players we don't know, we're going to put them in uniforms we don't like, in a park that's been so sanitized that there's nothing special about it at all. I mean, this is a ballpark that has no history attached to it, has no beauty about it, has just, it's the Levi's Stadium of Major League Baseball stadia. It really is. It is just totally forgettable. So you got unrecognizable players in despicable uniforms in a setting that no one could possibly give a shit about. And that's what baseball served up to us. The home run derby was a moving disaster of epic proportion. It served more to glorify baseball's relationship with T-Mobile than it did to celebrate the home run or crown a slugger or anything like that. It was awful. The way that they went about this entire All-Star break was just terrible. It's terrible. There should be people losing their jobs at Major League Baseball because of what we just saw and how forgettable it all was. The single greatest memory from this past All-Star game was a drunk anthem singer who was awful. And then we had, you know, those player intros, which is supposed to be a very ceremonial, cool moment. And here they are in Texas playing like this techno music that made the whole thing just feel disjointed. I mean, who planned this goddamn thing? It was awful. It was awful. We watched a sporting event that used to mean a lot to America jump the shark right in front of our eyes. It's like Fonzie leaping from one wave over the shark to the other. I guess I really don't need to watch Happy Days anymore. I don't think I need to watch Major League Baseball's All-Star game if they're literally going to eliminate every single thing from the game that I like in the name of just selling us bullshit. And that's what it's become. And again, if it's a soulless, we're going to try to sell you some things, you'd think that they'd have some things that you'd actually want to buy. You'd think. Those jerseys stunk. Those hats stunk. The only Shohei Ohtani hit a home run. Mason Miller then blew away Shohei Ohtani in an at-bat where he showed that his pitches are absolutely filthy. Nothing else in that game happened that will ever be discussed again. Nothing. You know, congratulations to Jarren Duran, the MVP of that All-Star game. It's not like Jarren Duran is playing in some hard to get any information about faraway Major League franchise. This guy's not a Seattle Mariner. He's not a Tampa Bay Ray. He's not a Miami Marlin. He's a Boston Red Sox. And I would say that most people in America couldn't identify Jarren Duran if he showed up at your front door knocking on it at dinner time. No one would know who he is. So you'd think that baseball would really use this opportunity with all of these brand new first-time All-Stars to really introduce you to these players with a really interesting, robust broadcast. Nope. I mean, Major League Baseball is squeezing in every single penny out of its commercial breaks to the fact that they're coming back like as the first pitch of the inning is being thrown every inning. There is no grace period, and if there is a grace period, they just got David Ortiz walking around a dugout doing the dumbest, most empty, nothing just happened interviews of all time. Joe Davis, you know, he's not a bad baseball broadcaster, but he ain't no superstar. Joe Davis doesn't make an event feel big. He's the wrong guy to be the national voice of baseball on Fox. He really is. He's a fine broadcaster, but that's where he tops out. He's a fine broadcaster. Don't let the fact that he worked for the Dodgers fool you. This ain't the second coming of Vin Scully. It's just a guy doing Major League play-by-play. You could feel the broadcast being bored with the Major League Baseball All-Star game. You could feel it. The only historical note was that Bruce Bochy becomes the only manager other than Tony La Russa to win an All-Star game from the National League and the American League dugout. So, again, more good news for Bruce Bochy. That's good. I endorse that. I like that. Everything else about that game was forgettable. I can't even believe I remembered to talk about it. You know, I know for the fact that I slit my views for this in half by actually having the audacity to go with a Major League Baseball All-Star game thumbnail. Maybe I got to just start paying attention to what I'm selling you here, that Major League Baseball is becoming irrelevant in real time. It's working its way actively towards meaningless on a daily basis more than any other major sport in the world. As I pointed out with Kruger today on Wake Up, think about it. The NHL, I mean, we don't care about hockey, not a lick. And the NHL does a better job selling us on the importance of its draft than Major League Baseball does. The NHL is better run than Major League Baseball. It's embarrassing. Everyone should be fired. Rob Manfred should be dismissed. He is absolutely derelict of duty as Major League Commissioner. He fucking sucks at this job. All of his little toadies and underlings, everyone who has their fingerprints on that home run derby, its new rules, that broadcast from the producer to the director to everyone should be dismissed today. It was awful. Who booked that anthem singer? She was awful. It's just the whole thing sucked out loud. It really, really did. And for someone who likes that game, who wants to positively talk about it being great, like I want to like Major League Baseball more than Major League Baseball wants me to like it. That is readily apparent. It really is. Freaking, it's just awful. It's just awful. Sip of the day is long since passed, but that was pretty good. For a room temperature cup of coffee, it's still really damn good. And I'll tell you what's really damn good. Any sandwich that you're ever going to get from our sponsor, Ike, and I love Ike, and you can love Ike, starting Friday at Mission Rock. He is having a grand opening of his 100th restaurant. It is happening right by the ballpark. We're going to be out there on Friday, probably get there around, 12, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Going to be hanging out with friends for a couple hours. Come on by to Ike's. He's got sandwich specials. He's so excited about his new place, as he should be. It's in the Visa building, in that new Mission Rock construction. I'm so happy to be associated with my friend, who, watching him, become a true entrepreneur. It's just been awesome to watch. The fact that he supports this channel, he could be in the chat right now for all I know. It means the world to me. So go out and support my guy, Ike. Make sure you download that app. Hey, maybe you're showing up for the grand opening. Hey, you use the app to order that sandwich. Let him know you're coming. It's awesome. It's awesome. I'm so proud of my man, Ike. I know that he's proud of me. I know that he's proud of what we're doing and building over here. So thanks to him, the support means the world. It really, really does. And you all mean the world to me, which is why, if you can't make it to Ike's on Friday, I really hope that you're circling July 28th. It's a Sunday, to meet us for Plus Mania 4 at the Dubliner in West Portal. Great bar, great people getting together to, just kind of hang out and kick it on a Sunday. It's going to be an awful lot of fun. We really look forward to seeing you. Hopefully you can make it. Again, you don't need to worry about taking Uber. If you live in the city, you can take Muni right there. Drops you off right in front of the bar. The Dubliner, West Portal. I hope to see you there. I really, really do. This is going to be one of those shows that'll probably hit the predetermined over-under run of show length time, because I'm rededicating myself to never wasting your time. And there really isn't anything going on other than the conversation about a Brandon Aiyuk trade, which we have already, if Brandon Aiyuk were a car sitting on the parking lot of a dealership, we have walked around this thing 35 different times already. There is no element of this negotiation that we haven't already scratched the surface of. And all I can tell you is that the 49ers officially now have 3 ways to handle the fact that Brandon Aiyuk has formally requested a trade. They can say, hey, we don't give a shit, and we're not trading you. And you tell them nope, and you tell them that it's $14.5 million, and if he wants to hold out, you go right ahead. That's the way we're going, and I do think that Brandon Aiyuk is so pot committed to holding out now that he would. I think you could just extend him, and that's still a possibility. This is a player that fits the 49ers perfectly. I hope they figure out a way to smooth all this rough patch out. They still sign him, and everyone is either unhappy or happy. I don't even care anymore. Just get that guy out there week 1 against the New York Jets. Or you actually execute a trade. That's it. Those are the 3 paths for this to walk down. And the only thing that I would offer as advice, not that the 49ers have asked me as advice, but here's what I'm offering as advice. Pick one of those 3 paths and don't linger. Go in one of those 3 directions. It's time to officially reach conclusion. Training camp begins Tuesday next week. I don't want people in offices doing math and roster construction and tinkering. I want a team focused on winning a Super Bowl. I think you want that too. Now, how much of a distraction is this really to the over? I don't know, but it lingers, and I don't like it, and I don't think you like it, and I don't think they like it. Who can like this? And who can like the fact that as Brandon Aiyuk officially declares I'm holding out, Ricky Pearsall, who might have more leverage over the Brandon Aiyuk situation than Brandon Aiyuk does if he goes out and has a great rookie training camp, well, he is right now hurt. He's on the non-football injury list, which means he hurt himself away from the team. All precincts are reporting to it's not serious, but it's also not good. I don't like the guy who's got to come take an NFL beating, getting hurt on the way to NFL by not NFL activity. What's supposed to be a smooth start, what's supposed to be hey, it's just about football offseason for the 49ers. They haven't even come close to that. And that's a shame because it felt like the whole thing was designed to be that. Oh, Brock, he's not in surgery. He's got a full offseason. We're going to get everybody on the same page. Debo's not holding out. We're not having a Nick Bosa hold out. Now it's Brandon Aiyuk. Like, this was a problem that could have been solved months ago. It's a problem that could be solved before Tuesday. It's a problem that I hope they do get taken care of before we just, flush a productive training camp right down the drain for this offense and assimilating this very good wide receiver back into everything it does. Or you got to get a new wide receiver in here pronto or somebody to take over for Brandon Aiyuk if you really are going to trade him, or you better be bracing for the holdout that feels like is destined to follow this. What a pain in the ass. Freaking pain in the ass. I'm not saying Aiyuk. I'm just the whole thing. The smooth start to the training camp that the 49ers made public a goal to have this year doesn't look like it's going to happen. Again, we'll see if the Warriors do anything with Lauri Markkanen. That's a wait and see. Woj reported yesterday that free agent guard Daeqwon Plowden has agreed to a two-way contract with the Golden State Warriors. That name again is Mr. Plowden. It's been one of the good stories of the Summer League. 16.6 points on 54% shooting, 48% from downtown. Welcome to the Golden State Warriors, Mr. Plowden. And that's it. I mean, there's nothing going on. It's the day after an All-Star game that so thoroughly sucked. What the hell are we even doing? I'm not going to waste your time. I thank you for watching today. I got nothing else to say. Seriously. I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated with Major League Baseball. I'm frustrated with this Brandon Aiyuk situation. I'm frustrated that I still got to wait over 24 hours to play freaking college football. I should have gotten that advanced thing. I should have spent the $30. I can afford it. I decided to be cheap, and now I'm pissed off about it. I need a burrito. I need something to get me out of this funk. I need something. I normally say I got to get an egg sandwich to cheer myself up, but I'm going to be getting a couple of egg sandwiches this week, so I'm not going to eat an egg sandwich today when I know I've got one waiting for me on Friday for sure. But don't let me stop you from ordering an egg sandwich today. Don't let me stop you from going to the Dubliner before we get to West Portal on July 28th for Plus Mania. And don't let me stop you from enjoying a great day. Pity the fools who are trying to get through 4 hours of sports talk radio when there isn't even a half an hour of shit to talk about. Not that matters to you or me or anyone around here. So I thank you for watching. Let me tell you what we are going to do. We're going to hop into a little Club Plus. We're going to go waste our time that way on YouTube, having a good time over there. So we're going to Club Plus. If you're listening on the podcast, I thank you very, very much for listening to the podcast. And please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Plug in, squeaky disco ball. Here we go. All right, I haven't even opened up the chat today. Haven't even opened up the chat, but I did let you know we would start it with a happy Humo Day. Happy Humo Day to all of you. I hope you are celebrating with those that you love. Look, Big Mac saying happy Humo Day indeed. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, Irwin, under hit. Hey, we haven't seen you in a while. Legends Pizza, back in the room. How are you, man? Good to have you back here. Love to see the regulars come on in. Postman, of course, is here. Oy, oy, oy! Great to see you all. It truly, truly is. What have we got going on here in the chat? Look, again, we missed you. Legends, good to see you back in here. I know you're busy with the two shops. San Bruno Mike is totally right. Let's be honest. When is the last time MLB got it right? I've been saying this for years. Given the chance to get it right or get it wrong, Major League Baseball always chooses the latter instead of the former. They always screw it up. I don't know why. Like, it's so simple. You know, people like your uniforms pretty much more than anything else. What should we do about that? Well, let's screw with the uniforms. Let's give people forgettable pajamas instead of uniforms that are regarded as sacred and the most identifiable things in the sport. Let's do that. We're trying to usher in a whole bunch of new names and new stars and let everyone know what teams they play on. Nope. We'll do the opposite. We'll create a level of confusion that is so unnecessary that that's how we'll be successful in the future. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Good question here from True Blue. Are any of the Sports All-Star games worthy of our attention? There used to be just one. Major League Baseball's All-Star game. And what made the All-Star game special is it more mirrored actual baseball than any other game. The Pro Bowl doesn't mirror actual football. The NHL All-Star game doesn't mirror an actual hockey game. The NBA All-Star game is such an abortion of good basketball. It's threes and dunks and zero defense and no one gives a shit. It's awful. It's unwatchable. NBA players have told you the All-Star game sucks. Adam Silver is angry at it during it every year now. Baseball's All-Star game used to matter. And it would still matter if they would quit fucking with it. It's just unbelievable to me. Again, Chef A, how do they continually fuck it up? I guess they're good at something at least. Yeah, consistency is what they got. Logan Webb, Elio Ramos, MIA. Did Webb even pitch? If he did, I missed it. I saw Ramos's one at bat. Nothing happened. Just painfully boring. Painfully boring. And look, you know, I don't want to sit here and just rip another broadcaster, but I'm sorry. Like, Joe Davis is the biggest nothing burger in the world. You know, it's one thing to be understated. It's another thing to be completely along for the ride. You know, say whatever you want about Joe Buck. You hear Joe Buck's voice and the game sounds big. Joe Davis's voice sounds like the same voice that tells you, like, thank you for calling AT&T. To continue in English, press 1. For Espanol, push 5. Like, it just sounds like a person who would work a phone bank. There's nothing sing-songy or musical or special about his broadcast at all. There's no artistry there. San Bruno Mike, don't get me started with the uniforms. I mean, come on. I mean, if Major League Baseball were in charge of Star Wars, they'd get rid of all the lightsabers. You know, what's the single most precious element of this franchise? Well, people really like lightsabers and the Millennium Falcon. Well, let's get rid of both. Let's get rid of both. Let's get rid of the Falcon. Let's get rid of all these lightsabers, and we'll just have land speeders and, I don't know, the Force. Like, come on. What are you doing? Mason Miller, 103. What, fastest pitch ever thrown in an All-Star game? Ta-da! There you go. I never even heard of Jared Duran. The guy plays center field for the Boston Red Sox. It's not like he's hidden anywhere. He's not playing for the Texas Rangers. He's not playing for the Seattle Mariners. He's a Boston Red Sox. And you never heard of him. That's all you need to know about Major League Baseball right there. They don't Major League Baseball, I get it. If you don't know how to sell Barry Bonds because he's polarizing and all that stuff, like I guess I get it. They don't know how to sell rookies. They don't know how to sell you promise. They don't know how to sell you, let's put this player in a situation where you're instantly going to recognize where you might see him next, should you actually want to see him again. I mean, this is an indictment. I had no idea who Jared Duran was until you said his name just now. That's an indictment on Major League Baseball. Agreed on Joe Davis. Thank you, Otis. Now, Otis cares about broadcasting. He might as well be a radio broadcast historian. Otis knows more about dudes who talk into microphones than any normal person should. And if you feel that way too, it just confirms what I'm suspecting here. It really does. He's a jag, just a guy. He really is. I mean, I don't know why anyone would ever pay big money to go to an event that will deliver nothing. The Home Run Derby delivers nothing. The All-Star Game now delivers nothing. It is a vehicle for Major League Baseball to make sweet, sweet love to T-Mobile. The All-Star Game now exists to be a commercial for T-Mobile than it does to pay tribute to this grand old game that we used to love. And that is offensive. Yeah, Sam Bruno Mike. Again, the David Ortiz segment, they just gave him a microphone and let him do random unscripted interviews. Who thought of that crap? He is literally walking around a dugout. Nobody wants to talk to him. Nobody. No, I don't know. Dude, what? David Ortiz is not entertaining. He is not, David Ortiz has got a mic. This is not Charles Barkley. He's not about to do anything provocative or entertaining or memorable or special. Nothing. Nothing. I don't get it. I just don't get it. We had this yesterday. Rockin' New Era 84 says the anthem singer was drunk, apparently. Dude, that national anthem was so bad, I would tell everybody that I needed rehab the day after it, too. Look, I don't mean to, just casually overlook a dependency problem if this woman does have one. But do you know how many people in the history of I'm a musician have a dependency problem and still go out and nail the fucking performance? Leave it to Generation TikTok to not even know how to handle your booze as a rock star. Good God. Larry, don't hold back, Damon. Tell us how you really feel. Yeah, I feel like I'm tired of watching baseball screw it up. And it's one thing, I told you that they were going to screw it up before the game even started, before the Home Run Derby even started. I was talking about how baseball was going to fuck this up last Friday. All they do is screw it up. Pisses me off. Larry, you coming to Plus Mania? I hope you're coming, brother. I hope we see you there. Roddy Richards, watching on Twitch. The one dude who watches us on Twitch. Thank you very much. Speaking of irrelevant, what do you think of 95.7 The Game doing a lineup change this week? It's the middle of summer. Sure, go ahead. Just admit we got nothing to talk about. We need to shake things up. We're so desperate for you to listen to this station. We'll try anything. It's a gimmick. I missed this. The Gunnar Henderson Scooby-Doo impersonation was the best thing about All-Star festivities. Sporticus, I missed that. I did not see that. So, there's conversation here about, Bronny. Dude, I'm not ready to talk about Bronny James. I'm not. Dude, he doesn't look like much of a basketball player, much less NBA player. So I don't know what's going on there. I'll tell you right now, LeBron James is an incredibly talented basketball player to this age in his career. As someone who builds a team, he's awful at it. LeBron James shouldn't be within a country mile of roster construction. We're talking about Russell Westbrook. We're talking about his own kid. We're talking about all the decisions that he makes around. He is not good at it. LeBron James should literally only play basketball. He should not be involved. And the Lakers, I don't know how much impact you get out of, anyone you would pick, but you don't want to pick someone who might not be able to play basketball. If Bronny James were anyone else, he wouldn't be getting minutes in Summer League. He is not ready. Not ready. For a professional career. Oh, now we're debating burritos. I'm not even going to get into the burrito debate business. Although I do agree here with Larry. Guadalajara is also really good up on Mission. Yeah. Carl, our good friend Carl, he enjoyed the Mason Miller-Ohtani battle last night, probably more than anybody. But what a disaster. An absolute disaster for Major League Baseball. Duran, bigger than Jared Duran. Well, yeah, clearly. I mean, come on. Until Jared Duran does Hungry Like the Wolf or The Reflex, yeah, Duran all over it. Rio still's a great song. It really is. And there we go. I mean, I don't think there's any much more to say today. I'm not here to waste your time. I'm going to pull you into an hour-long show when you deserve to be in an hour-long show. You don't deserve that. You don't need that. I don't need that. There's nothing going on. So go grab a little lunch. And if you got a voodoo doll of Rob Manfred, start sticking pins in it, because that guy just, Major League Baseball on his watch, has taken massive steps backwards in terms of just importance in the United States. He is awful. He is awful. You, though, What a great group of folks you are. It was awesome hanging out with you today. Thank you very much for being here. Back tomorrow at 11 with even less to talk about, but we'll manage it somehow, some way. Until then, thank you so much for stopping on by. And, it doesn't break my heart to tell you that you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here because there's no reason to stay here. This Humo Day sucks. And that's my official opinion. But I hope you have a good one anyways. Thanks for watching.